Yep. So, yeah, Pierre talked about the most theoretical aspects of all this. And in fact, when you build components, you also want that, at the end, you have a bunch of components, and if you want to have an app which is robust, you want for each component to be tested and to be robust too. So you have to try, when you develop components, to ensure that all of your components, all of your bricks are tested and well defined, So, just here, sorry, it's not my computer. Okay, here is a little widget we made. I will just compile it, just launch it in fact, to show you what it's about. It's a little widget that allows you to display menus, and I will just load. Okay, so in the center, this is the widget with 4 items. Each item is clickable, okay, and it's a way to make menu with font awesome icons easily. And the interesting thing is that this widget is fully tested and automatically. Each time you push the code on GitHub, there is an automatic build and automatic acceptance that are run with the widget. We are doing this in 2 ways. We are testing the core features of the widgets, so the pure JavaScript, I would say, with Jasmine, which is a test unit framework, a bit like Mocha, which is more famous, I guess. And we are also testing all gesture and user interaction on device or on simulator with Calabash, which is a tool that can interact with devices. So I will show you what it looks like from, this is a 1500 line of code that just defines spec. So it's not really, talkative. But we can just run spec. To see what it looks like. I think for this widget there is about 20 different specs to just test if the configuration is correctly handled, if the button can receive the click event, or they respond to the click event, and how all things are working. So it will just take a couple of minutes to build the app and to launch the test. In order to launch and the test, we are using TI Shadow, because TI Shadow supplies a whole test environment for Jasmine and every other test unit framework. So it's quite easy to just write your Jasmine spec and then run TI Shadow to launch test. The interesting thing is that all those tests could be done in an external cloud, So you just have to push things on GitHub, and Travis will grab your files, will build your app, run your tests, and then give you logs back. So you can see on a pull request for anything else when your app changes, if there is a problem or not. Okay, so let's run the test. Yes, so allow is recompiling just for the test, and then we are running the test with all the expected specification. So there it just appears as a bunch of line of text, but under the hood is testing if every function is calling correctly, if they are correctly responding, and so there was about 80 tests, 22 spec, everything is okay. So I will just show you also what Calabash looks like. So Calabash allows us to test gesture and user interaction on the device. It could be something like, you know, swipe window, click button, enter text, and you could define scenarios for your app and just see if everything is going right. So just define a bunch of scenarios that you want to be able to do with your app, and you don't want to check every time you make a change. So just write it as a Calabash test, run the whole things, and there we go.
This where do you keep the app that actually uses the widget? The widget, you cannot just run the widget.
Yeah,
it's run an app.
In fact, for developing widgets, we are always working with 3 branches on GitHub. Master branches with just the file of the widgets, and also test branches with a full Titanium app that import the widgets. So we can test the widget with all the spec and test. And there is a 4th branch with the documentation. Yeah, so the app is compiling for running the test because Calabash is injecting a lot of, you know, little tool in the app to make calls.
So when you run this Jasmine test, it actually checks out that test branch, or do you have both of the branches checked out?
Mm-hmm.
And how does it find the other test branch?
I have a Travis file that configures the whole process and tells Travis to just test on the test branch and to run a task runner that uses Gulp.
But it will then pull in the widget from the master branch in the test.
Yeah, to put the widget in the test branch, it will install all required tools, install the SDK for Android, and run the test for iOS and Android, make screenshots of the test, launching the app, just typing, choosing configuration for me. Okay.
You're not doing
I'm not doing anything. And in fact, in the terminal, he's logging all the action he's doing. So just loading configuration and clicking on the button. And between each action, he's making a screenshot. And at the end, exporting the screenshot to a cloud, just to be sure that to have a trace of the execution. So there is few scenarios.
See, behind how is it written? I press Linux, and then
So,
I wait.
Yeah, scenario look like this. You just write, okay, I'm on screen, I select systems configuration, wait, take picture, I press the button in Linux, I wait and I take picture, then go to the next scenario. So you just have to write a bunch of action like this. So there is a preset, and you can extend the action with a Ruby API, in fact, to define your own action. In this case, for example, I select the system configuration was a custom action that I wrote for the test. And yeah, that's almost everything. You can just write scenarios and be sure that your app is correctly running.
Can you show one of these steps in Ruby?
It was a step.
Yeah, but the script of the
The
step.
script.
Oh, the script of the test. What do you mean by the script of the test?
Well, the Calabash steps.ruby.
Oh, okay.
Or the custom ones.
What is the step definition? Yeah. Custom step. Okay, so yeah. Look like something like this. There are 2 API, one for Android, one for iOS. So you have to, to switch between the 2 platforms when you write test. So here there is the code for just the iOS platform that just touch the text field, enter the text, hide the keyboard, and click on the load configuration button. And there is the same API call for Android. There are already almost, I don't know, 30 or 40 existing steps like basic move, touch the screen, touch the button, fill the text input, take a screenshot, swipe left, swipe right, and every action like this. So it's pretty simple to write small scenarios to test the app, to test its behavior. And yeah. So there are the scenarios I wrote to test the app. It is in a language that everyone can understand, you know, both the developer and the communication or marketing guys that need to read it and to be sure that, okay, the app is doing these things, so I can sell this thing to the clients. Those are working. And okay, that's almost all.
Yeah,
Yeah, documentation. Okay, yeah. Yeah, also, just. Just 1 second. Okay. Just 5 minutes ago, Fokker asked me about how do we run the test. So, in fact, there is 3 branches, but so then also branch with the documentation. We build all the documentation with JSDoc, which is the same tools used by Appcelerator to generate their own doc. So by just adding documentation blocks to our code of each widget, we can just generate documentation that look like this. So you can have your widgets and every thing is commented, every event, every function calls, and in that way you can build and make widgets that are really auto sufficient because they have their own doc, they have their own tests, and they can just do their job correctly, I guess.
Cool. Yeah. What's important here is that some people use Titanium because it's free and easy to use, and the learning curve is really low. But they forget about the basics of software development, where you have to have a workflow, and you might use useful tools like Git and unit testing and documentation. Because the day your developer is going to leave the team, you'll have to hire a new developer or maybe some freelancers, and you'll give them the code, and they will say, okay, I can't work with this. This is just unmaintainable, overly complicated, and it just doesn't work. So what do you want me to do with it? Just start from scratch again? And yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid, is that Titanium being seen as the easy app builder or prototype builder, where you cannot make an app bigger than that, because oh, that's Titanium, it works, but until a certain point, and once you reach this point, then you will just reach the limit of the framework. That's not true. And the real limit is the way you use it. And we're going to prove that you can make awesome apps with Titanium, and they are maintainable, they are easy to use, and they are great. Cool.
Well spoken. Well spoken.
Nice speech.